Welcome to the JAMODI podcast, where we interview coaches and leaders to find out not just what they do, but how they do what they do. Becoming the best version of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. What's one quality you see in leaders that coaches and players need to cultivate in their own habits?
One quality of leaders, the great ones that I see, are human. They show vulnerability. They're not know-it-alls. They're learn-it-alls, as my mentor Kevin Eastman says. They have the ability to say, "I'm sorry," and they're okay with not being okay. For example, I got to experience what Greg Popovich was like through my experience with Manu Ginobili. I got to be around Doc Rivers for a couple of weeks when I was visiting the Celtics. I almost had a job opportunity there, but I didn't take it. But I got to be around him for a while through Kevin Eastman, hearing the stories of Doc, being around Cheryl Reeves, WNBA world champion with Minnesota Lynx. One of my mentors, Dale Harris, I got to do some things with him. Mike Dunlap at Milwaukee Bucks. My point is, I've been around and been able to experience some great coaches, George Raveling, Tate Slock, Nike,
Nice.
and then my study, the study. I've been around Ray Allen and been able to work out Kevin Durant, live with Amari Stoudemire, Chris Paul, LeBron, like all these players, 100%, they want to be the best. But when they realize they're wrong, when somebody gives them the truth, they don't fear it. They accept it. They're vulnerable. When they make mistakes, they're accountable. I got you. I messed that one up. Let's go again. Can you forgive me? And, among many values that leaders have, Matt, no question, a lot are important. But the one thing that I don't hear emphasized enough is empathy and vulnerability. Because to me, if you're vulnerable in front of your troops in a real, sincere, genuine way, that brings you tremendous courage and tremendous connectiveness. Like these leaders that were vulnerable, their players and their people that follow them respected them more because they saw that they're human and they're not a robot, and they don't really camouflage their weakness, so to speak. If they make a mistake and it affected the relationship in a negative way, they're going to own that. Or if they make a mistake and somebody corrects them, they're going to own that. And that's how winning is done.
Yeah, that authenticity is inspiring. I think that's a great reminder for all of us coaches at any age, to keep being real. And like you said, it's okay that we make mistakes. I know early on as a younger coach, I did want to look and appear as if I have all the answers and I do not make mistakes. And I don't know, maybe that's with age, guys will get it, but great reminder for all of us.
Yeah, Matt, me too. I started coaching Division I college as a grad assistant at age 23, and was a college coach for 5 years. Man, me too. I thought I had to be perfect. I thought I had to be Superman in front of them, and that was a little. Sometimes that created a distance and a barrier between you. I think sometimes you have to admit you have kryptonite. You're human, and what bonds your players and your troops is that we're all diverse, but we all bleed red, and we all are human. And the common bond is we love basketball. And so I not in a negative way, but I just call it, don't be a controlling communistic coach.
Yeah.
Be flexible. Be
hard
open.
To play for those dudes that are like that, for sure.
Absolutely.
So you do come across, I mean, my first time getting to speak with you one-on-one, I followed you a bunch, but you do come across as somebody that you're really humble for all of the things that you've been able to accomplish and all the people you've been able to work with and be around. So as you're in your journey, as you had more and more success, how did you keep that? Well, how the ability to stay humble and kind of remember who you are?
That's a great question, and I'm starting to starting to really teach this as well, just as a reminder to me. Ironically, Matt, there's some people out there that probably don't think I'm humble. I've gotten some comments on my emails and remarks on Twitter. And again, it's the social media world.
Sure.
It's people that watch you from a distance, that don't understand the messenger behind the message and the process to the end result. So, man, I appreciate that. But, for everybody that thinks I'm humble, there's a small crowd of people that think you're arrogant too. So you know what? That tribe of people that think I'm arrogant, that keeps me humble. Okay, I'll consider that. Maybe that comment, maybe that blog, maybe that interview, maybe that workout where maybe I came across where it was about me instead of the players. So I don't answer to everybody, but I listen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't try to please everybody, but I consider everybody important. And so I'll have the small voices in my life stay with me. I don't if it's not true and everybody's not saying it and the core people around me, if they say that's not true, then I keep those voices louder than the other voices that say the opposite. But for me, look, I'm not that important. I'm a player development coach on every basketball team. They don't even have one in high school. They don't have a player development coach. They have assistant coaches.
That's right.
So we're not that important. In college, all right, you might have a player development coach, but they don't get paid a lot. And in the corporate world, it shouldn't be like this, but people that are more important get paid more by the administration and people that own the programs. In the NBA, they don't even sit on the bench. They sit behind the bench. So in our industry, Matt, anybody can start a skill business. Like somebody down the street can be me. They just need a ball and a business. They just need a basketball and be able to communicate.
Yeah.
And accept monetary value. So to me, it's a fragmented industry. We're not that important. And so I realize that. I keep that in the back of my mind. Look, I'm just a small piece. However, when I show up, God has anointed me. Greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world. The tongue can bring life and death. I know I can impact a person's life in an hour. I really believe that. But in the grand scheme of things, the most important person in this industry, in this environment, is the player. And then probably their parents. And then the head coach. And then their mentor, their assistant coaches. I'm a small piece. And I can impact for a season, but I think about it's just perspective. I think about that. Number two, I always try to learn more. Like early in my career, it was all physical. The second decade, it became mental. The third decade here, going into the third decade, it's, emotional, spiritual. I've added faith more and being more evangelistic in my journey. I know that basketball is perishable for a lot of these kids, but their soul is imperishable. And finally realizing that, I can help this kid win a championship, get a scholarship, make a team. But in reality, in the big picture, is he going to have peace? Where's he going when he dies? How's his soul? Is he impacting the world? Does he believe in God? Does he know Jesus? Does he know the secret to life? Like, your soul is peace is imperishable. Where you go after you die, is very important. And we need to look at that. I know there's 18,000 religions out there. I'm just asking people to look at the way, the truth, and the life. You know what I mean? Look, just realize what kind of leader and Jesus was, and what kind of God that we serve. And so that kind of humbleness, that kind of thinking, being around people that are smarter than me, having a gratitude list, having a perspective, all of that, listening to the voices in your life that don't think you're humble. All that keeps me humble. I don't know if that was the answer you're looking for, but
Well,
that's a great question, because if you're not humble, you become arrogant. When you become arrogant, you start to become irrelevant as a teacher, and your lessons start to die. So.
Yeah, Coach. There's so much gold there, and I appreciate your honesty with that. I mean, I'm at a Christian private school, and so faith is something that it needs to be and is expected to be infused into everything that we do. So any class that a kid goes to, there's a faith element to it every day in basketball. What I love about teaching the game is, just how easily life lessons pop up in moments where we can make this way bigger than basketball. Within individual skill work, you had a big piece on faith a second ago. How do you incorporate faith throughout workouts? Because you have, let's say, an hour with a kid and you have an agenda and things that you want to accomplish, but how do you fill that, or how do you incorporate that into it?
Yeah, that's a great question. Practically, number one, we always pray before the workout. And before I pray, I kind of say, look, the game is spiritual for me. And I don't just believe in God on Sunday. I take God with me. He's my coach. The Bible's my playbook. I talk to my coach through prayer. The game is life. Praying to God right now might not help us, but it definitely is not going to hurt us.
Yeah.
And I want a spiritual protection and connection in this workout. Do you mind if we pray? And I say that, pretty much for the first workout, and then the second workout, they get it. The third, fourth. By the end of the month, I'll say, hey, TJ, you want to pray today? Even if they're not a Christian, man, it's just, God still loves you, and it's awesome because it's uncomfortable.
Oh yeah. I was going to say that I'd love to see the look on the face right there.
Oh, priceless, man. I wish somebody would have done that to me.
Yeah.
I was 19, 20, 18, because the only way to true solution and the only way to refinement, the only way to growth is through confrontation. Jesus confronted. As teachers, as leaders, one of the biggest skills we're lacking, because we're at an all-time high with disrespect with authority and students understanding information but have no idea how to apply it. And as teachers, we get stale and stuck, and we don't confront and we don't dig deep. We just, all right, man, here's a book, here's the film, whatever. I'm not following up. I'm not asking the hard questions. I don't want to go there because it's uncomfortable for us. It's draining.
Yeah.
But to me, I love it. To me, it's my gift. I grew up a fighter, and maybe that's why some of the people out there think I'm arrogant, because I ask the tough questions. I'm not afraid to fight. I'm not afraid to call you out. It's not being cynical or spiteful. It's called confronting negative behavior to change it. As a teacher, our nature is to confront. And so, there's evil out there that are distracting all these people believing in the wrong things, because they want peace. They want power. They want purpose. They want a vision. They want to go somewhere where they can be weak so they can be strong. And to me, I just think God provides that. I think He's our true life source. And the Bible is a book that's been, translated in thousands of different languages. And it's the one story in the history of the world that's never changed. And you and I could tell a story right now on Twitter to 10 people, and it would change by the 11th or 12th person. And we're talking about a story well over 2,000 years ago. And so prayer is a start. And then during the workout, now this is hard because I'm competitive, and there's a lot of flesh going on in competitive sports. I try to be a witness. I try to be an example. I try to live out the biblical truths. I try to tame my tongue. I try to tame my anger. I try to be patient. I try to be graceful. I try to be forgiving during the workout. And then follow up after the workout. I might send them a sermon, a link, give them a Bible verse. I might invite them to church. and that starts the discipleship. After I get to know them a little bit, I might ask them before the workout, "Hey, Aaliyah, on a scale of 1 to 10, how's your soul? How's your peace? How you feeling?" And last week I had some players tell me 5, coach. I'm at a 5, and so during the prayer we prayed, and I let them know, if I can help you, I'm here. And that's kind of what I do.
I've had the chance to have a bunch of these conversations now, and it's amazing how there's so many moments where something that a coach says connects right to me. And maybe Coach, maybe the only reason that you and I are having this conversation today is because of what you just said, the intentionality that you have throughout those practices and after. I mean, golly, to be honest, I'm at a Christian school where it's okay to be saying and doing what you're doing, but I just don't know if I'm as intentional as, like, right now I'm kind of kicking myself. How many opportunities have I missed? I know we're not perfect and none of us will ever be, but thank you. If anything else today, man, that really connected with me, and hopefully it'll help me to be a better, more intentional coach in that arena.
Well, yeah. Well, you're welcome, and God has divine appointments, obviously. And Matt, I struggle being intentional at times too. But guess what? We got today.
No doubt.
We got today, and this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, it's been hundreds of times I haven't been intentional, but you know what? I'm gonna be intentional today, tonight. And so it's discernment, man. I mean, a lot of times you want to help people, you want to say something, but you're not the person that God wants you to help them. Sometimes you need to, give up on people and let God take them. You know what I mean? Because you're not the one that's supposed to help them, because you can't help everybody.
I'd come home with some frustration at times over the years, and my wife, who is very wise, would always tell me, "Matt, you're not going to save them. It's not your job to save them."
100%.
And what a great reminder from her. And it's almost like I need to have that on my whiteboard in here every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't give up on people, but give people up.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I've had to learn that, man. I've had to learn, because I've been intentional, for the last 10 years. I really started to step out in faith and be intentional. And there's some people I can't reach.
Yeah.
And
but you're planting seeds. You're planting seeds, and 100%. You never know. Yeah.
100%. And so, don't get frustrated, bitter, or lose your peace, because the seeds you plant, somebody else will foster that. God will foster that. But you and I won't see the fruits of our labor until we're way, way up in heaven.
Yes, sir.
And let me share a story real quick, Matt. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
This is my 21st year of my business. And, presently I've been to 5 continents, 49 countries, 48 United States I've done work in. I started in 2000, way before the social media boom, internet. I think we had email. I think websites were like $19,000, $20,000 for a basic website. So my point is, in the last 6 years, I've been getting hundreds and hundreds of messages, emails, texts, Facebook, whatever. And we've been saving them in a file of people that I've trained in 2005, 2010, that are now parents, leaders, coaches, husbands, wives. And the impact that I made in their life, they never have forgotten. And they told me specific stories. You were at my school. You were at my camp. And it's like, wow, I remember that. I didn't think I did anything there. And here, whatever reason, they feel they need to reach out.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat, man. Pretty neat.
Yeah.
So keep impacting.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.